President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday held high-level talks with the visiting UN Secretary General Antonio Gutteres. The UN chief selected Nigeria as part of his three-nation tour in Africa, the first since his appointment. Gutteres arrived on Tuesday and had already visited Borno State, one of the areas worst hit by terrorism and insurgency. There, he inspected some camps, ISWAP fighters who surrendered to the armed forces, as well as the internally displaced persons. The UN chief announced his full support for the reintegration of the repentant terrorists, describing it as key to the attainment of peace. Before meeting President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Gutteres was at the reconstructed UN house in Abuja, where he laid wreaths in remembrance of victims of the August 26, 2011 terrorist attack on the facility. Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutteres has said he fully supports the Nigerian government's initiative to rehabilitate and integrate former Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters. Gutteres, who is in Nigeria on an official visit, said it was a key step to achieving peace in the West African country. Gutteres told a news conference that the integration program will help achieve peace. He urged continued humanitarian support in Borno State and appealed to the government to help the people in internally displaced persons camps to return to their homes in safety and dignity. Nigeria has been fighting Islamic group Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African province ISWAP for over 10 years. The conflict has claimed the lives of thousands and displaced millions of residents who are taking refuge at IDP camps. In its bid to strengthen systems to effectively tackle corruption and related crimes in line with global standards, the House of Representatives on Wednesday gave accelerated passage to 4 bills forwarded by President Muhammadu Buhari to the National Assembly for consideration. The bills are passed through the first, second, and third readings at plenary. The bills seek preventions and prohibitions of money laundering in Nigeria, Detection and Punishment Act of Terrorism, as well as financing of such crimes, including proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. And also considered and approved is the bill that made provision for protection of witnesses who assist law enforcement agencies during investigations and prosecutions. The bill repealing and enacting the Public Complaints Commission Act to enable the commission and the complaints bordering on administrative actions on public authorities and their officials was also passed. Also passed is the Bill of Financial Crimes, which contains provisions for seizure, confiscation, forfeiture, and management of properties suspected to have been derived through unlawful means. The persistence of kidnappers and terrorists who audaciously carry out their criminal activities in Nigeria is becoming worrisome. However, the federal government has proposed the amendment of the 2013 Anti-Terrorism Bill to avoid financing banditry, through which acts of terrorism will be reduced to the barest minimum in the country. Oduayo Reyeni takes a look at the effectiveness of this bill on Nigerians. Our report.
The state of insecurity in Nigeria is becoming a sad tale. In recent times, there has been a back-to-back attack on lives and properties, which is quite frightening. The efforts of the government seem not to yield viable results. With the House of Representatives amending the 2013 Anti-Terrorism Act, which states that any payment of ransom to kidnappers to free victims in captivity is prohibited, and anyone who flouted the law will be penalized with 15 years imprisonment. Some Nigerians feel it is a welcome development, while others take a different stance.
I believe that the major point that they want to drive at is to make sure that everybody is responsible, everybody is giving adequate information regarding whatever that is happening to them, and to also discourage ransom payment. You know, when you discourage ransom payment, you have tactically reduced the crime.
It's a joke taken too far, because right to life is fundamental to both economic survival of individual and the nation. And the government has failed in protecting the constitutional rights of the people. I see such as a shortcut to failure.
It's a very good one. But its existence with the present political system, with the present way of life and way of security existence, I have doubts that it will fly.
Several heartbreaking reports of how victims are killed in the cold hands of terrorists fly around almost every day. Could the bill be the appropriate approach to tackle the insecurity in the country?
Asking them not to give ransom is not the best approach, because, like everybody knows, whoever feels the heat will know how to resolve the heat.
Only the wearer, they say, knows where the shoe pinches. Certainly, the families of the victims won't fold their hands and not make efforts to get their loved ones freed from captivity. The situation is becoming prevalent as kidnappers have seen abduction as a business venture. Reports also confirmed that some family members have resorted to kidnapping one another for ransom. Hence, the government moves to amend the 2013 anti-terrorism bill, which could be the saving grace for Nigerians to enjoy their rights and freedom to live if it is properly enacted.
Security is everyone's business. It's not only the government's business.
The Nigerian government needs to wake up to reality and do what is expected. We need to double up our effort in securing our people.
The government has the instrument of arresting and punishing them. It has that capacity, but it's not being used. And that's the most saddening aspect of it.
Challenge for every Nigerian. It's not a challenge for the leaders alone. But basically, it is the leader is the person in the helm of the affair, whose responsibility it is to administer whatever that's in existence. The law, the norms, the values, the culture, the policies that are in existence that are not in alignment with the working society presently. If you don't deal with it, they will come back and deal with you.
Nigerians thereby call on the government to speak at the level of average Nigerians, feel their pulse, and understand how laws can be of their interest. Only this way can laws be effective in the country. Odunwayo Oreyeni, OGTV News.
Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abeokuta, has said that one of the ways in proffering solutions to the societal decadence is by accepting the use of indigenous languages and cultural heritage in the training of a child against the Western culture which pollutes the society nowadays. Arigbabu submitted this during the Latin debate competition in Ijebu language with the topic Ule Ratimike Shorode, Home Education, Great Foundation, Great Heritage, organized to promote and sustain the Ijebu language, held at Mabroyal Event Center, Imoru Ijebu. Professor Arigbabu noted that the best way to tackle immorality that permeates the communities today, such as indecent dressing, nudity, pornography, lack of respect, especially for the elders and constituted authorities, is by teaching children moral education in their mother tongue. Arigbabu stated that the use of indigenous language, apart from helping the upcoming generation understand and appreciate their culture, it will also help in reawakening people's consciousness to the speaking of indigenous languages, saying failure to do that would make children lose their identity very soon.
Because our children will lose their identity very soon. If we are not careful, saying they speak very soon, many of them are even not speaking Yoruba again. They are being brought up using foreign languages, English language in particular. If we go on like that, only God knows what will happen in the next 20 years. Unfortunately, those of us here in Nigeria, we try to bring our children up using English language.
Speaking, the chairman of Ijebu, the local government area, Honorable Tunde Gazal, said a lot of parents, because of seeking for survival, have left the responsibilities in the upbringing of their children, which have paved way for the pollution of foreign influence, adding that youths can learn moral values better and faster if they are taught in indigenous languages. Earlier, in his opening remarks, the chairman, Yelati Foundation, Alhaji Abeokuta, revealed that the competition, which was organized in the Ijebu language, is a way of encouraging the acceptance and speaking of the language to sustain and prevent it from going into extinction. Hundreds of students of the University of Benin, Edo State, trooped out en masse to protest the ongoing strike action of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The students who protested around the university gate and its environs are declared what they call mistreat, meaning that Nigerian students would now be taking lectures on the streets, with some of them acting as lecturers, all in a bid to protest school closure. Protest was foiled at the University of Lagos on Tuesday as heavily armed security officials, including the men of the Nigeria Police Force, were stationed at the gate of the school. The strike action of the lecturers, which is entering its 4th month, has left public universities short since its inception, following the lecturers' demands, which the federal government had allegedly not met. Still ahead in the news, Army declares war on IPOB over killing of couple personnel. We will bring you the welcome back. Political leaders, chieftains, and members of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun West, under West to West for DA, have presented the senatorial nomination form, which they purchased to Senator Solomon Adeola, also known as Yayi, to run for the senatorial seat of the district. While presenting the form to the chairman, Senate Committee on Finance at his residence in Ilaro, the political leaders described it as a show of total commitment to the quality, representation, and benefits he will offer the senatorial district with his wide range of experience at the Red Chamber. Matthew Showumi completes the report.
After going around all the local government areas in the zone to mobilize and galvanize the grassroots for Senator Solomon Adeola, popularly known as Yayi, to contest for the Ogun West senatorial seat and the acceptance by the senator, the people have now gone ahead to purchase the nomination form to demonstrate total commitment to the agenda. In attendance to witness the presentation of the nomination form and give support for the candidature of Senator Solomon Adeola are the chieftains, leaders, local government chairmen, and members of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun West, members of the State House of Assembly, former members of House of Representatives from the zone, and local government chairmen.
Some members of the movement and other sympathizers decided to come together to raise the money needed to fulfill the APC senatorial expression of interest and nomination forms.
They described the senator as a good asset that should be tapped into, hence the decision to do what is unprecedented in the history of politics in the senatorial districts.
In order to encourage him that in the nearest future, when this governor finishes his tenure, he will be the governor of this state.
Just to show our love, to express our love for him. It's our son that we want him to, we love him and we want him to represent us.
All been yearning for his coming back to Ogun West to contest. Because we're the one that called him, we came together again and decided to get the form of the Senate for him.
Trying hard to contain his emotion, the visibly overwhelmed Senator Adeola, tracing his political journey in the zone, which was full of turbulence, said the latest acceptance by the people shows that the decision to come home to serve them is the best.
I will be more accessible to my people than any other person. I will make sure I am readily available to listen to them, to hear from them what their challenges are. And I believe that is very, very critical, and that will serve as a guide in the kind of representation I give to my people.
Senator Yayi, who thanked Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for allowing him to return to the state and Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun for his long-time support and commitment, promised to always put the interests of his people and Yewa land first. Matthew Shoumi, OGTV News.
Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber, popularly known as Chofi from Ofada Ward 2 in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, has declared his intention to contest for the Ogun Central senatorial seat of the All Progressives Congress APC in the 2023 general elections. Bumi Adigun covered the declaration done at Obafemi Owode, and he completes the story.
A seasoned professional with a wealth of experience in financial services, Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber graduated with a BSc in accounting from the University of Ilorin and got an MBA in finance from the University of Lagos. He is a qualified chartered banker, a chartered accountant, and a chartered stockbroker. Having served in the corporate world in various capacities, coupled with recent exposure in the public service, he now desires to serve the people of Ogun Central at the Senate on the platform of All Progressives Congress, APC. The party membership in A4, Eweko, Abeokuta South, Abeokuta North, Odeda, and Obafemi Owode local governments say they are behind the man, Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber, who they say is smart and industrious and is best to represent them.
Schwaber is a serious candidate. I am saying this with all my experiences in politics. Because Schwaber is a very serious candidate.
Party leaders of the All Progressives Congress at the local government level and executive chairman of the local governments in the senatorial district are also drumming support for him. Director General of Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber campaign for Senate, Honorable Lukman Adiro, enjoined all politicians in Ogun Central to see his aspiration as something that would create a new wave.
Consultation. The result of that consultation is what you are saying. We have consulted wide and granite of all the 6 local governments in Ogun Central Senatorial District. And what you are seeing today is the climax of that consultation.
Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber promised to be above board with a mouth-watering agenda.
We need to join hands with people that are also playing politics, because politics is not is played with a view to an end. It's a means to an end, is not an end itself. So technocrats must also collaborate with politicians, because there are so many problems that be dealt with in Nigeria, and it's important that we must come together, use our competencies, experience to resolve those challenges and those problems, from security to the economy to inflation, those things that are in the politics that is affecting our people, the predominance of poverty, and we need to re-engineer Nigeria. There must be a renewal, there must be a turnaround, and I'm going to be part of that thing that is going to turn around Nigeria.
Adebola Emmanuel Schwaber is one of the first politicians that will make a public declaration for the senatorial seat in Ogun Central. Bumi Adigun, OGTV News.
The Nigerian army said it would go after members of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, for the gruesome murder of the army couple in Imo State. The media had reported how 2 soldiers, Audu Linus, a master warrant officer, and Private Gloria Matthew, were shot dead and beheaded on Saturday when they were on transit to Imo State for their traditional wedding. Army spokesman Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, in a statement issued in Abuja, described the killing as gruesome, barbaric, and most despicable. No fewer than 37 suspected criminals have been arrested across the 18 local government areas of Ondo State. The arrest was made during a 24-hour joint patrol led by the Nigerian Army and operatives of the Amotekun Corps. The patrol, which took place across the state simultaneously, was part of the state government's attempts to ensure a crime-free state. Akogun Adetunji Adeleye, the Ondo State commander of the Amotekun Corps, disclosed this to newsmen at the Corps headquarters in Akure, the state capital. According to him, the patrol, which began on Friday last week, would end on Thursday, adding that the week-long exercise is aimed at ridding the state of criminal elements. Stakeholders in the building industry are to uphold professionalism and build by the books in a bid to reduce and, if possible, eradicate building collapse in Nigeria. This is the submission of experts in the building and construction sector who spoke with our reporter, Kumisola Shokoya, on the perennial collapse of buildings in Nigeria. Details are presented in this package.
The collapse of building in Nigeria is dated back to the independence of the nation. Often, when a building collapses, it does not just amount to economic loss. It also results in the loss of lives, properties, and perpetual injuries to many for a lifetime. The recent one in Nigeria is the collapse of an old 3-story building on Ibadan Street, Abatmakoli Way, Ebutemeta, Lagos, on the 9th of Sunday, 1st of May 2022. Why did the collapse of the building not defy every solution in Nigeria?
I will blame all of us, both governments, the individuals, clients building, professionals as it were. Why will I blame us? Because we are all involved in this whole process. The process of building.
Building experts advocate for more regulatory enforcement.
There are procedures, there are approvals, there are permits to be obtained before carrying out any of these activities. And there are professionals involved at every step of the way. These we have not yet internalized in this country.
Government is at the head of policies. We'll have to make policies and follow them up that ensure that perhaps we should start testing buildings that have existed for a number of years to know which buildings can be left to stand and which buildings will have to go down. And also there is, I think, poor follow-up when it comes to construction. I'm a builder, and I know that when we get approval for buildings, you might never see those that are supposed to, give me close marking, keep checking whether what I am doing is in accordance with what was approved.
They offered solutions to the incessant building collapse in Nigeria.
Owners of these properties themselves, they must start by approaching only those who are qualified building professionals to engage them in their building construction or design or retrofitting or rehabilitation, as the case may be.
If the government does not up their game, the private organizations can get away with anything. And so because, a typical entrepreneur wants to maximize profits. And so he might cross the line in trying to maximize profit. There has to be somebody that is not profit-oriented, that is ensuring that even though you are trying to make profit, you must stick to these standards.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement by his media aide, Femi Adesina, described the incident as embarrassing, urging relevant agencies to work toward addressing the situation. Aderonke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
One Olatunde, an agriculturist, has been commended for his good heart by returning a missing phone to the owner without requesting for any form of inducement. Mr. Olatunde said he found the phone in the restroom of a restaurant.
So on getting to Lafenwa, I was pressed. I just let me just look around where I can ease myself, and I enter Tantalizer at Lafenwa. So with mindset of even buying something, I just asked one of the attendants their convenience. So immediately they showed me, I entered there, I saw the phone. But because of the country we find ourselves, my intention is different from another person's intention. I took the phone, that whosoever owns the phone will call, and I will tell the person to come and meet me, and I give the phone. Immediately the phone rang, I navigate my way to Yanomashwari, and I told the owner to come and meet me there.
The owner of the phone, Mrs. Adewale Deborah, said she had lost hope of finding the phone and commended the Good Samaritan for the gesture. The third session of the fourth synod of the Diocese of Ijebu Southwest Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion holds from Thursday 5th of May through Sunday 8th of May. The synod opens with a service at St. Barnabas Anglican Church, Okunwa, Ijebu on Thursday by 2 p.m., while the official opening and presentation of Bishop's Charge comes up by 10 on Friday 6th of May at the church auditorium and will be presided over by the diocesan bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. Babatunde F.R. Ogunbanwo. The synod will be rounded off on Sunday, 8th May, with a Thanksgiving service at the same venue. Wife of Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, has joined members of Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, to mark the first year remembrance of Pastor Dare Adeboye, son of the General Overseer of the Church, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, who bade the world goodbye at the age of 42. Mrs. Abiodun at the event reminded the deceased family members not to relent on institutionalizing his legacy. Adebola Oshomoji covered the event held at the Redemption Camp in Ogun State. A report.
On the 9th of June 1978, to the family of the founder, the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye. Pastor Dare Adeboye, a lover of youth, through his ministry impacted the lives of many. Unfortunately, his dreams were shattered as he bade the world goodbye at the age of 43, exactly a year ago. In fulfilling his desire in building innovation and technology hubs in the country and beyond, the Dare Foundation was established to also immortalize him. At the event, wife of Ogun State Governor Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun led other dignitaries present in delivering goodwill messages.
This was a man many would say was sold out to God, and we count it a privilege to have men and women like him in our lifetime. I dare say that while he was just living his life to make the most of his time on earth, he was also following in the footsteps of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Mrs. Abiodun encouraged the family and the congregation not to be discouraged in supporting the drive of the deceased.
This is one of the ways we can truly honor his memory, by supporting and sustaining his legacy and his vision. May God help us to truly number our days to live meaningful and impactful lives.
Pastor Adeolu Adeboye is the brother of the late pastor, who ascertains the fact that his brother's legacies will continue to reverberate.
The education aspect, from day one, from primary to secondary school to university, we're going to help people who come forth within the mission, even outside the mission, and also to do that by God's grace.
The Dare Foundation is committed to providing resources for various church organizations and communities. Adebola Oshomoji, OGTV News.
You're watching OGTV News. Business News is next. To join us.
Telecommunication companies are proposing a 40% increase in the cost of calls, SMS, and data to the Nigerian Communications Commission as a result of the rising cost of running a business in the nation. Based on the proposal, the price floor of calls will increase from 6.4 naira to 8.95 naira, while the price cap of SMS will increase from 4 naira to 5.61 naira. This was revealed in a letter written by the telecommunication companies under the aegis of the Association of Licensed Communication Operators of Nigeria to NCC. Rising from a special board meeting of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, the Executive Vice Chairman, Professor Umar Dambata, has conveyed the federal government's approval of MTN Nigeria and Mafab Communications to commence the rollout of 5G services in the country. The approval certifies that the two operators who emerged winners of the 3.5 gigahertz spectrum auction in December 2021 have satisfied all necessary requirements to roll out the innovative service in the country. It also gives the operators time to meet up the August 2022 deadline to roll out services, as the information memorandum of the auction stipulated. The Commission had on February 24 confirmed the full payment of $273.6 million each by the two spectrum winners, in addition to spectrum assignment fee paid by MTN for the 5G spectrum license. The federal government of Nigeria and the Lagos state government will earn total revenue of over $201 billion in 45 years when the Lekki Deep Sea Port becomes fully operational. Minister of Information and Culture Alhaji Lai Mohammed has said. The minister stated this in Lagos when he undertook a tour of this $1.53 billion mega project, accompanied by the heads of parastatals under the Ministry of Transportation. Alhaji Mohammed expressed joy at the quality of work done, assuring that the port would become operational in the last quarter of 2022. According to him, when fully operational, the deep sea port will create 169,972 jobs and bring in revenues totaling $201 billion to state and federal government through taxes, royalties, and duties. The federal government has said that the livestock program being implemented in selected states across the country under the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, is to deliver an investment return of not less than 2 trillion naira to the Nigerian economy. It said about 9% of the Nigerian economy, valued at approximately 2.9 trillion naira, was made up to the livestock sector, adding that the NLTP had been planned to deliver adequate returns to investors. A total of 119 ranches are to be created under the NLTP within a 10-year period, beginning from 2019, while pilot ranches in grazing reserves are being developed in 7 pilot states, including Adamawa, Benin, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau, Taraba, and Zamfara. Explaining the economic rationale for the NLTP in the program's strategy document of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in Abuja, the federal government said part of the strategy was to develop a blueprint for sustainable development of Nigeria ranching in Nigeria. The World Bank plans to revise the global poverty line from $1.90 to $2.15 due to increases in the cost of basic food, clothing, and shelter across the world. This was contained in a fact sheet post titled An Adjustment to Global Poverty Lines, which was published on the bank's website on Monday. The post read in part, as differences in price levels across the world evolve, the global poverty line has to be periodically updated to reflect these changes. Since 2015, the last update, we have used $1.90 as the global line. As of fall 2022, the new global line will be updated to $2.15. And that was business news. Back to 20 for the rest of our news.